Breaking news today, Russia allocates 40% of the national fund to Perang. The increase of foreign currency reserves for the next 4 years is being pursued by Russian President Vladimir Putin. This improvement is its most significant national budget item for the next 4 years. Russia will allocate funds for defense and security equal to about 40% of total national budget. This elevation improvement is very close to the border with Ukraine. Vladimir Putin, President of Russia, announced the national budget on Saturday, November 27, 2023. The new budget is almost 25% higher than the national budget last year. The interesting thing is that the budget for enforcement and legal proceedings for the year 2024 is almost 70% higher than the budget for the year 2023. Also read, New Year's Belanja Militer Dunya 2022 year 2024's budget has, all things considered, indicated that national spending will reach 36.6 trillion rubles, or about 415 million Australian dollars. If the debt is not paid, it will reach 1.5 trillion rubles, or about $9.5 million. This money was specifically set aside to support literacy efforts, according to Vyacheslav Volodin, a member of the Russian parliament. As an added bonus, the funds will also be used to mitigate the international sanctions imposed after Russia invaded Ukraine. Due to economic sanctions imposed by the Baltic states, Russia is unable to engage in international trade using the US dollar, the euro, or the British pound sterling. Aside from that, a number of commodities produced by the country, including rice, can be sold at a higher price than the market price because other currencies are used. You may also be interested in reading China, Russia, and the challenges faced by Japan in reducing their defense spending. On the other hand, the Kremlin will be able to alleviate the domestic pressures caused by economic policy failures due to the high level of Russian sanctions, higher prices, and low levels of social support. The Kremlin has managed to derail their military plans, which has caused a decrease in the value of the ruble. This Karahazian is also for the purpose of reducing oversight of its operations in Ukraine. However, independent Russian business journalists Farida Rustamova and Maxim Tavkalo were successful in determining that nearly 3/4 of the federal budget will be used for law enforcement and court proceedings in the year 2024. Meanwhile, Russia has an ambitious revenue target for 2024, which is 35.1 trillion rubles, or about $391.2 million, an increase of 22.3% from the previous year. Such Russian optimism is based on the assumption of high milk prices. Also read, the Ministry of Finance estimates 319 trillion Indonesian rupiah for 2023. In relation to the war in Ukraine, Russia increased the amount of military aid sent to the country in the past 2 weeks. It happened last week on Saturday, with more than 100 shots fired between Russia and Ukraine on Sunday and Monday. Its majority of fish are killed before they reach maturity. The goal of this increase in funding is to solve the currency crisis in Ukraine, according to Richard Connolly, a professor of Russian language and economics at London's Royal United Services Institute. In addition, Russia is prepared to engage in a long-term military confrontation with the Bharat. This is the same as implementing widespread literacy programs in the Russian population. She said, Russia is home to 15 different industries that produce agricultural equipment. Among them are residential roti businesses that have recently begun producing drones, one of which is located in Pabrik Roti Tambov, about 400 kilometers from Moscow. For making 30 tons of flour, the factory now produces 250 metric tons of rice per week. It was done in response to requests from the literacy group, according to The Economist. In order to manufacture drones, 15 manufacturing lines were modified.